Hey guys, I'm your Hobby Mad Dad and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be talking about speed puzzling. So when people think about jigsaws, they think, oh, it's a relaxing pastime. It's something to do chilled out, relaxing, quiet, calming, all these words. And a lot of people will do them with their family or get one out on the table and just spend a couple of nights just doing it as and when, just spending a bit of time doing them out just to relax. Until now. So the last couple of years, speed puzzling has really started to come into its own. And speed puzzling, for those who don't know, is basically finishing a puzzle as fast as you can against either the clock or against other people. So there is actually a World Jigsaw Speed Puzzling Association, and they run and organise competitions all over the world. So all sorts of countries have their own national championships. And then, believe it or not, there is even a world championships for speed puzzling. This is held every year in Spain. And in the speed puzzling, there are three categories. You have solos, so you just go on your own, and you have 90 minutes to complete a 500-piece puzzle. Now, most of the competitions that are part of the puzzling associations are sponsored by Ravensburger. So most of the puzzles you'll see are Ravensburger. Now, you have to do these puzzles, the Ravensburger 500-piece puzzles, just like this one, in 90 minutes or less. Basically, whatever time you do, you'll then be scored on that. And then if you do not complete the puzzle within the 90 minutes, your piece count will be counted to see how many you've actually had done, and you are scored then on your piece count. I think the world record at the moment at one of the latest competitions at Worlds stands at about, I think it's sub 30 minutes to complete a puzzle. So that is the solo round. There is then a pairs category where again you do a 500-piece puzzle, but there are two of you. So you and a friend will do it together. So the times are a bit quicker as you're working together, obviously. And then the third and final category is teams. So this is where up to 4 people enter a team. But in this one, the majority of competitions you do a 1,000-piece puzzle. And I know in some rounds you'll even have, say, a choice of 4 puzzles, and you have to pick 2 and get them completed within a time limit. So the team of 4 is doing 2,000-piece puzzles. So why is this of interest to me? So basically, the UK has always had jigsaw competitions, but they've always been unofficial and just set up by local places. However, this year, the UK Jigsaw Puzzle Association has set up the first annual speed puzzling competition, and I'm going. So yeah, so I'm going there next Saturday on the 5th of April, and it is up in Bradford in the UK. And basically I'm going and I'm entering the solo, so I'm doing it as a soloist. Again, same rules apply. You have to complete a 500-piece puzzle like this, one of these, within a set time limit. And then I'm entering the pairs as well. So I've been asked by another YouTube content creator to join them. So the person I'm joining is Vicky from Vicky Makes and Builds. Now, Vicky has a long-established channel, whereas mine's relatively new. So she has a lot of following, a lot of people follow her, and her content is fantastic. So what I will do, I will tag Vicky in this and her channel, Vicky Makes and Builds, and I'll also put her link in the description so you can go and see and check her out. So if you've not seen her, it's well worth a visit. I've got a lot of my inspiration of what I do and the puzzles I do are from her, so it's well worth a watch. So in this video, I'm going to go over 3 puzzles that I've recently speed puzzled, because up until now, I've never speed puzzled. So I'm not a speed puzzler, never have been. I've always done it casually, but yeah, so I've given it a go. So what I'll do, I'll start with the first one I did, which was this one here. This is called A Day Out in York, and it's a 500-piece Ravensburger, and it's by an artist known as Kevin Walsh. So basically, it has been hinted that at the UK Nationals, the puzzles are going to be designed, drawn, whatever you want to call it, by UK artists. So I thought I'd better get a couple of UK artist puzzles in just to practice. So yeah, so this one is by Kevin Walsh, and basically this depicts just a scene in York. So you've got a couple of old vehicles here, and there are people in their summer clothes, some in smart wear. They're clearly there with all their cases just for a day out, a bit of a trip in York. And in the background, you have some buildings, some houses, and a castle, cathedral, whatever that is. And then you also have some trees and some blue bits. So the puzzle, to look at, doesn't look too bad to do. There's actually quite a lot going on, so it's quite a nice little puzzle to do. So the next one I did was this one here. This is a 500 piece Ravensburger, and it is called the New York Postcard. The reason I got this one is because this was actually used in the World Championships last year, the year before, I can't remember what it was. But this was actually a championship puzzle, which was great. So I thought I'd get this. That way I can compare myself to other people who may have done it. And I can look online, look at the scores and the standings, and actually see where I would have come, which I will go into when I talk about this puzzle after the video. So this is part of a series. It's the postcard range, and basically everyone is very similar. They're all very colourful. They all have a lot going on, and they're really exciting. The differences are they each have these stamps, but obviously being a New York postcard, this is New York. And then all the buildings down here are iconic buildings from New York itself, finishing with the centerpiece of the Statue of Liberty. So other ones in the range that I've seen, you've got a postcard from Paris, and you've got the postcard from London. So they're all different ones with different things inside of it. Now the third puzzle I did was a little bit different. So this isn't normally the sort of puzzle I would go for. This is a 500 piece Ravensburger, and it's called the Rabbit Recital by a UK artist called Demelza Horton. So I wouldn't normally go for a puzzle like this. I've never really been into doing ones with flowers on, and there's just a lot going on. There's a lot of different colours on here for me. So this is a difficult puzzle to do, let alone to speed puzzle. So what's going on in this picture, it's quite a fantasy-based theme going on. You've got this young lady with the red hair playing on a bright blue piano, and there's a little white rabbit that's sat watching her. And then in the background, it almost looks like it's in a forest or something. It's got all these flowers and these colours going on. So it's a beautiful picture. But yeah, just difficult. But I got it, one, because it's a UK-based artist, and two, because of the flowers and the scene, because it's not something I'd normally do. So I thought I'd better get something like this so I can actually practice it. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to jump straight into the time lapses of the 3 videos. It's just a quick time lapse. They're only 2 minutes or so each. So watch them, see how it all come together. And then after each one, we'll discuss how I found it and what time I got. And then, yeah, how I feel speed puzzling's going. And at the very end, I will give a brief overview. Okay, day out in York, complete, and my first ever speed run, complete. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. That was stressful but enjoyable. Now, yeah, that was yeah. I was getting very anxious in parts of that. I was trying so hard to go fast, and I was sweating. I was hot. It was crazy. I couldn't think at some points, but it was enjoyable. Good to challenge myself, and good to see exactly how I got on and how I did. So yeah, the puzzle itself really enjoyable. This is the sort of puzzle I'd like to do regardless. I like little scenes like this with buildings, sky, trees, and a lot of things going on. I really enjoy. So as you saw from the video, I did a flip. So I flipped every piece out and I put them all face up, and also I took the edges out. So separated the edges and put everything facing up so I could see every piece. Uh, I then started building the edges. So I started to build the bottom and the top, and then I just started building. Now, one of the things that I got a bit frustrated with was because I lay everything out in front of me on the board. As soon as I wanted to start building the frame, I was fine with the tops and bottoms, but once I started building up the sides, I had no room. I had all these pieces in the way, so I think I wasted a little bit of time. Yeah, just trying to sort it all out. So I think, in hindsight, once I get a bit better, I'll start actually building around a frame. But yeah, it's very difficult, and when you're racing, it's the last thing you think about. But yeah, very enjoyable puzzle. So I built the edges, and then what I then did was kind of I found all of the pieces that had sky and building or sky and trees, and I put all them together, and I basically built this outline, which then allowed me to separate all what's down here with the sky. I then went in and built the sky, followed by this little building here, which was, because of the color difference, it was very obvious what that was. And then I kind of started down the bottom, just building, getting bits what I could find. So bits of blue for the car, bits of red for the bus, and I was just kind of trying to build up as I went. The last thing I did was this brickwork here, because that was quite a lot of bits. Now, one of the things I found was the two sorts of buildings here, or three, sorry, all have very slightly different brickwork. But when you're going fast and not looking at them properly, they all just kind of blur into one. So I got a bit stuck here doing these. And in hindsight, I would do it differently if I was to do it again. But my time for this in the end was 1 hour and 46 minutes. So, seeing as there's a 90-minute cutoff, and I did an hour and 46, I was happy with that. Only 15 minutes outside of the cutoff. So I would have had only a few pieces left to do, maybe 50 pieces. So I actually would have done okay, and I was fairly happy with it. So now let's do the time lapse on the next one. Second puzzle done. New York Postcard. So this one, really enjoyed this puzzle, and I can kind of see why this would be a championship puzzle. It's kind of ideally suited to speed puzzling. So again, sorted everything out, did a flip, and I then got all the edge pieces out and I built the edges. Now, my flipping's not too bad. There's faster people out there, but to get everything flipped over and everything separated, I'm around the 5-minute mark. So I'd like to get that down to probably low 4s, maybe even break the 4-minute mark to sort through 500 pieces. That would be a great time to get. But yeah, I did this in about 5 minutes for the flipping, and then I went and started to build the edges. And I kind of seemed to just naturally build from the edges inwards on this puzzle. I think I started on this little flower, because that was just one solid colour which stood out. I then looked for other bits that stood out. So what I actually did, I separated into a few little piles as I was going. I had all these coloured dots. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but on the bottom you've got all these green dots. On the side you've got all the larger dots. And then up here you've got red dots. So I separated into those sorts of piles as I was going. And then also this bit here, you got the stamp, which was maybe about 8 to 10 pieces. And this stamp mark there. So that was quite easy to find. So I built all those up, and that kind of just started to come in inwards. I then found edge pieces, not edge pieces, sorry, like parts where there's part building, part colour. So that I was able to build the edges or the outlines. So I built all this. That then allowed me to fill in the buildings. Basically came inwards until I was left with the statue. So the statue was pretty much the last thing I did. And yeah, that went in there. So yeah, great little puzzle. If you ever want to try speed puzzling, I would highly suggest getting one of the postcard range. One, because it's a known championship puzzle, so they're easy to get hold of, and it's perfect for speed puzzling. And two, it's just a great puzzle. And I actually think I'm going to get some more of these. Really good puzzles. Anyway, the important bit. So the cutoff was 90 minutes, and I did it in 1 hour, 28 minutes and 30 seconds. So I was over the moon. I didn't expect to get anywhere near the 90-minute mark on any of these puzzles. So I was absolutely over the moon with that. And I actually looked on the website from when this was actually used in the championships. And it was only in one of the rounds. I think it was one of the opening rounds, because basically they do initial rounds, then they go to semi-finals and finals. And in that heat, I wouldn't have qualified for the next round. However, I was only about 10 minutes off, and I actually would have came 76th. So I was over the moon, absolutely over the moon, to one, have finished, and to two, to place in the top half of that heat. So for my second ever speed puzzle, I was really happy. So on to the next one. Puzzle number 3, Rabbit Recital. I don't even know where to start talking about this one. This was a horrible puzzle. Don't get me wrong, it's a great puzzle to do. I really enjoyed the puzzle, but not for speed puzzling. This was difficult, and I poured everything out on the table. However, actually, one good thing about this, I flipped it all, had everything flipped, laid out in 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So I was really impressed with that, really impressed. However, from there, it all went downhill. I did not know where to start. I literally looked at it, and there's so much going on and no huge blocks of colour. I just didn't know what to do. So I decided, basically, I'm going to start with a girl playing the piano. So I built this piano part up. I didn't even do the edges. The edges are just, all the pieces look the same to me, and I just didn't want to go there. So yeah, I started with the piano in the middle, built the lady with the red hair, and then I slowly worked my way up and down. So I basically ended up having this section here done, edges included. I then started looking at the bottom part. Then it suddenly dawned on me, this pink is all a solid color. And I don't know if you can see from there, but looking closely, it all has lines. There's lots of little lines on there. So I was able to look for pink things with lines that were clearly not puzzles. So I was able to get that bit done quite quick. And after that, I kind of just spread out along the bottom, building this edge. And I ended up with all this middle piece done, and then this bottom bit. So basically, everything but the flowers, because I really don't enjoy flowers. I then just decided to tackle these two edges here, and it took me forever. I just could not see the pieces. There is so much going on, and looking at the bits when they're just as pieces in the table, it's difficult. You can't see what's what. I know people out there love flower puzzles, but yeah, not me, not for me. But anyway, the time for this one, obviously aiming for 1 minute, 1 hour 90, was 2 hours and 15 minutes and was it 28 seconds. So yeah, in my eyes that was difficult, and I didn't place very well, but thoroughly enjoyed the puzzle, and I'd probably do it again, but as a relaxing puzzle. But yeah, 2 hours 15 minutes I was disappointed with, but I've learned something. I've learned to stay away from flower puzzles. So if I'm at the Nationals and I open a puzzle and it's got flowers on it, I'm in trouble. But let's hope it's not. So that's it. All 3 puzzles done. As you can see, it was very much up and down. First one was good. Second one, in my opinion, was great. Third one was absolutely horrendous, and I wanted to throw it out the window. However, I'm here, it's done, and I'm still going to Nationals in less than a week's time. So I am going to be doing a video on the Nationals. It is the first ever UK Nationals, which I think is really exciting. So everybody going is in the same boat. Nobody's been before. Nobody knows what to expect. People might have been to other puzzle competitions. I know some people have been to Worlds. But yeah, it's just going to be a fantastic day out. So I'm going to do that video probably in the form of a day vlog. So basically, I'm going to start the day, talk about it, how I'm feeling before I start the journey. I've then got a 3-hour drive where I'll be thinking about what I'm going to do, and then when I get there, I'll maybe show around what's to be expected, show what I can see, my point of view, and then I'll film both this puzzle and I'll speak to Vicky, but hopefully we'll film the pairs one as well. And then yeah, I'll talk about it, and I'll just let everybody know in the video exactly what the Nationals is all about. Let's try and get more people speed puzzling, or just doing puzzles in general. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. I've got a lot of exciting things coming out. If you haven't seen, my previous video to this was a little mini puzzle haul where I basically showed all the puzzles I've got coming up, and there's some challenge puzzles, there's some massive, and there's a 13,200 piece count puzzle, and all these are going to be built on the channel. So please subscribe, like, comment, and be ready for lots of fun. Anyway, thank you very much, guys.